In 1997, the Egyptian government invited John Stuart Reid to take measurements inside the Great Pyramid. After his work, John made an intriguing prediction. There were at least 2 hidden chambers within the pyramid. 20 years later, scientists confirmed his prediction by discovering the first and second secret chambers. Rumors swirled that John knew even more about the pyramid's secrets, but was forbidden from sharing them publicly. Some say he may have already hinted at these mysteries in subtle ways. Today, let's explore this fascinating story. In 2018, at an academic conference, John Stuart Reid showcased his latest invention, a device that could reveal the 3-dimensional shapes of sound waves in water. He displayed a sound wave pattern on the screen, and it immediately resembled some kind of living creature. The audience started whispering, trying to guess what it could be. John then moved to the next slide, revealing the form of a trilobite, one of the oldest life forms, dating back 500 million years. The crowd was stunned. Next, John showed another sound wave pattern, this time in the shape of a starfish. Everyone recognized it right away, and he explained that it represented life from 450 million years ago. The third image appeared, an intricate pattern resembling a spider's web. As it turned out, it was the structure of a diatom from 200 million years ago. Finally, John revealed a fourth slide, showing the cellular structure of a diatom from 65 million years ago. John began by explaining that on early Earth, inorganic matter could transform into amino acids through lightning strikes. But the real mystery, he said, is how those amino acids eventually formed DNA and life itself. The mainstream explanation compares it to grains of sand on a beach, randomly coming together to form a Swiss watch, an event with an astronomically low probability, but one that somehow happened here on Earth. John continued with a grin. As you've just seen, it wasn't entirely random. Perhaps some kind of sound wave signal was behind the scenes, pulling the strings. The audience erupted in laughter at the thought. Once, during an experiment, John observed a sound wave pattern that instinctively felt like a form of life, yet he couldn't identify it. Curious, he sought out Dr. Robert at the University of California. Dr. Robert handed him a cross-section photo of DNA, and sure enough, it was an exact match. John then shared a fascinating story from his time measuring the king's chamber. He was even allowed to lie down in the stone sarcophagus and take a nap. As he rested, an idea suddenly struck him. People often say the sarcophagus is the energy resonance point of the pyramid, so why not use sound wave imaging to see what shapes the sound waves form on its surface? John proposed a quick experiment, and the Egyptian officials agreed. He covered the sarcophagus with a thin film, securing the edges with aluminum foil to turn it into a drum. Then he sprinkled fine sand on the surface and adjusted the sound waves. Soon a pattern emerged. An Egyptian assistant looked closely and said, "Wait, that's a hieroglyph. It represents the spine." Intrigued, John adjusted the frequency again, and another shape appeared. The assistant grew tense, recognizing it immediately as the Eye of Horus. He explained that, according to legend, 5 priests had once summoned the Eye of Horus in the king's chamber, but all of them mysteriously vanished. Only one priest escaped, but he went mad and eventually took his own life. Unfazed, John continued adjusting the frequency. Finally, a third hieroglyph appeared, and the assistant sighed in relief. It was the knot of Isis, a symbol of protection. John's story easily brings to mind the famous urban legend that the Great Pyramid wasn't just a tomb, but a massive planetary power generator. The idea ties in with the principles behind Tesla's tower and Schumann resonance. According to this theory, the pyramid doesn't just emit electricity, it channels some unknown form of energy, all focused on the king's sarcophagus. Some say there are burn marks inside, while others point out that the edges of the sarcophagus match the pyramid's design perfectly. There's even talk of zirconium found inside, which would require high-voltage electricity to produce, something the ancient Egyptians shouldn't have had. Archaeologists originally speculated that the sarcophagus was meant to hold the body of a pharaoh, but no remains were ever found inside. Plus, the sarcophagus itself is missing a corner, as if something catastrophic had occurred. Some enthusiasts believe that the ancient Egyptians thought mummies could come back to life because they actually witnessed it. Perhaps in an ancient ritual, the pharaoh's mummy was placed in the sarcophagus, and the pyramid harnessed some mysterious cosmic energy. A portal to the underworld was opened, and the pharaoh's mummy was transported there. Horus, the ruler of the underworld, oversaw the pharaoh's trials. After successfully completing them, the pharaoh was sent back, revived, and ready to rule Egypt once more. However, during one particular ritual, an accident occurred. The sarcophagus was damaged, the energy was cut off, and this time, the pharaoh could not be brought back to life. Over time, Egyptians continued making mummies and believing in resurrection. But the true resurrection machine, the pyramid, stopped working. Perhaps this is the secret John was hinting at. Sound waves, capable of creating life and gathering energy, might also be able to revive the dead. It sounds fantastical, but could something like this exist in reality?